Every week, the Xfinity Editors pick the TV show, movie, or special event they are most excited about right now. This week, we kick things off with Sammy. Sammy, what are you watching this week?
Alrighty, the thing I am most excited for this week is none other than finally Season 3 of The Morning Show on Apple TV+, which had its 2-episode premiere last week on the 13th, but is airing weekly on Wednesdays. Let's take a look at a clip.
You know, we were supposed to change things, weren't we? I wanted to make a difference.
I need to have a say in the future of this place.
I want to build something that matters. I want to win.
It isn't real. It's all smoke and mirrors.
You need a miracle. I am offering you a lifeline.
5, 4, 3. Honestly, let all the secrets come out. They did not protect me.
They didn't protect you, but I did.
It's time to smash and shatter. Let's burn it all down.
I hope it was all worth it.
Everybody fighting.
So dramatic. The Morning Show, it has been 2 years since the second season finale, so I was more than itching for these new episodes. If you're not familiar with the show, it follows the cast and crew of the fictional morning news program called The Morning Show, or TMS. And the first season was about a sexual assault scandal. The second season was about COVID-19. And the third season features John Hamm. Not really sure what Season 3 is going to bring us yet. But like I mentioned, there's some pretty heavy hitters in the cast. Obviously, Jennifer Aniston and Reese Witherspoon. But last season, we added Juliana Margulies. Also, Billy Crudup is in it. And my all-time favorite, and Maddie will agree with me on this, Miss Greta Lee, who is so fabulous.
Birthday, baby!
Miss Greta Lee, who is just so wonderful in this show, and I think deserves to be one of the main characters, but that just might be my own bias. If you're a fan of the HBO drama with Jeff Daniels, The Newsroom, this show is very similar, but just kind of like the morning show version instead of the evening nightly news program version. It's very dramatic. The intro is amazing. The song is fantastic. And yeah, I'm so excited to have this back on my weekly rotation of Wednesdays, 9 p.m.
I might have to give this one another shot. I watched the first episode on a plane, and for that reason, I only had one episode. I think Apple had given us an early screener, and then I never watched any more. For no other reason, I liked it fine. I just haven't gotten back to it.
I recommend.
Yeah. I also sad to say, I do love like movies and TV show about like the newsroom, and I've never checked this one out. So I think it's about time. I actually did a studio tour at Sony back in January, and they were filming this season. And they use like code words they don't call it The Morning Show, like on the trailers or on the go-karts. I think, but we found out what the code word was. I forget what it is now.
No.
And I don't know if I'm at liberty to repeat it anyway, if I did know it. But I kept like looking around, like looking for Jennifer Aniston and Reese Witherspoon all throughout our studio tour. I did not see them, sadly, but I was on the lookout and I was excited about it. So now's my chance.
Yeah, it's one of those shows that makes you think like, oh, wow, is this really how it goes on? Like, is this what the Good Day, Wake Up America, Good Day America, all these shows are how they actually run? But I don't know.
Good Morning America.
Good morning, thank you. Oh my gosh. Good Day America, Wake Up America. I think that was
all of this. It was Wake Up San Francisco.
Oh,
Wake
yes.
up. Thank you for that. The show I am most excited about for this week is the all-new docuseries The Supermodels, which premieres this Wednesday, September 20th on Apple TV+. Directed by Oscar-winning filmmaker Roger Ross Williams, this 4-part docuseries showcases the careers of Naomi Campbell, Cindy Crawford, Linda Evangelista, and Christy Turlington, who became household names in the 80s and 90s as models who ultimately outshined the brands they represented on the runway. This series features new interviews with all 4 fashion icons and chronicles their careers from the early New York days to their recent endeavors in activism, philanthropy, and business. I'm always looking for a new docuseries, and sometimes it's nice to watch something that doesn't involve serial killers. So I'm absolutely excited to check this one out. They've been like really kind of tight-lipped in terms of anything about this, in terms of like footage from the interviews, but I guess it is promised to give sort of a deep dive look into what it was like to move from all of these areas around the world to New York to chase this dream, and then rising to become these massive pop culture figures and on the covers of tabloids. And then, of course, all of the other issues that come along with the modeling industry in terms of body image and the pressure to look a certain way, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm really fascinated to check this out. And Apple TV Plus always typically does really well with their docuseries and documentaries. So looking forward to this one. Don't know if either of you have anything to add to this one.
I don't, but I do agree with you. I love seeing like the bad side of the industry. Like now, even I know it's a reality show, but like going back and watching episodes of like Project Runway and like America's Next Top Model, it's like, oh my God, like cringe some of the stuff that went on those shows. So I'm imagining here some of those models will tell those behind the scenes stories that are pretty brutal. But yeah, you can tell it's tight-lipped because the poster art is black text on a white background. Yeah.
And Christy Turlington, she had been like badly scarred, I believe, from like one of those fat removing freezing procedures that was like highly publicized, and she had talked about it. So she hasn't been seen in public for quite a while. So this is kind of her return to the spotlight to do this, which I'm sure will gain a lot of attention too. But to your point, boy, those America's Next Top Model clips have not aged well. It is brutal sometimes.
Iconic in its own right, but
cringy. I actually saw a meme the other day that maybe it's a very weird path to this, Sammy, but it made me think of you because it showed it was like models on Project or America's Top Model pose like, and they all had their arms like twisted, and it made me think of you doing the Demi Lovato knees in thing.
The leg buckle.
Yes, from Camp Rock. It's so random, but I was like, oh my God, that's what it makes me think of.
I love that. I love that I made your way, wormed my way back in through there.
Yes, it was a worming. Maddie, what are you looking forward to this week?
Yes, thank you, David. I am excited for this premiere of the brand new, groundbreaking title that you should all be excited for, John Wick. Just kidding, it's not a new premiere, but everyone should always make an appointment to watch John Wick, which is coming to Peacock this month. So let's refresh our memory and watch the OG John Wick trailer.
You like that, huh?
Nice ride.
Thanks.
How much?
Excuse me?
How much for the car?
She's not for sale.
You have good day, sir.
Daisy. I lost everything. That dog was a final gift from my dying wife.
Jonathan, you got out once. You dip so much as a pinky back into this pond, you may find something reaching out to pull you back in.
It's personal.
Where'd you get that car?
What does it matter?
It's not what you did, son. It's who you did it to.
Okay, like legendary trailer there. I loved revisiting that. I also forget that Wick from Game of Thrones is in the first film. Wasn't a fan of his redemption arc in Game of Thrones. I hated him the whole way through. So very easy to hate him in this movie as well, which he does fantastically. Very hateable character. Okay, so not only can you watch the OG John Wick on Peacock, but you can watch the second and third installments as well. And this is one of those rare franchises where I think the movies just get better and better in each and every installment. John Wick kind of stands with the rest of the iconic action characters who just can never be destroyed or taken down, even as they approach their 50s and 60s. I'm thinking Bond, Ethan Hunt, Jason Bourne. We don't have an age check on Chase, the police puppy from Paw Patrol, but I think he's pushing 50 in dog years, so let's just lump him in. If you want to get jacked, like John Wick is, you can maybe partake in a push-up challenge where you complete a push-up or some other form of exercise every time a particular thing happens in the John Wick movies. There's a lot of repeatable things that will make it so you have to do lots of push-ups. So let me just list off some of the things I saw when I was Googling some of these games that I was looking for. You can do a push-up every time someone says John Wick's name. And that's great because no one ever just calls him John or Mr. Wick, really. It's always first and last. You can do a push-up every time John Wick acquires a new automobile. You could do a push-up, you can do a sit-up, you can do a crunch, whatever your heart desires. Every time the stylized subtitles present a particularly important word in big, bold letters. This happens way more often than you'd think. And you can also, do an exercise routine every time someone gives someone else a silent nod of approval, which happens a lot. So have fun with it. You don't have to do a push-up. You can do whatever you want. It's a fun game when you're watching John Wick. And have a good time and watch the first 3 installments of John Wick, which is streaming now on Peacock.
Tell you what, Maddie, I'm going to get so jacked watching John Wick, doing all these push-ups. I'm not even going to be able to stand. I'm going to be so jacked from doing all of this exercise.
I feel the same, David.
My exercise challenge, go for a run for the first 25 minutes of the first movie to avoid the sadness of dog dying, then come back and participate in the rest of the game.
That sounds like a great plan.
You would have to do a pull-up every time John Wick uses his coat jacket like a vampire to block bullets from hitting his face, because that's how fabric works.
Exactly. Yeah. Amazing costume choice there, by the way, to the creators of the Wick franchise. Thank you.
Seriously. And this is also a good way to prepare yourself to watch the Continental from the world of John Wick, which actually premieres this Friday, September 22nd on Peacock. And of course, the Continental is the hotel home base for all of the assassins to come and hang out and get their next, assignments or whatever.
So many push-ups happening there.
Are there real guests at that hotel?
They are the guests.
Oh, okay.
They do actually get to stay there, I think. It is like a proper hotel.
Yeah. Yeah, and I like that it's like a home base, like a safety area that like they go out and do all these horrible assassinations and killings, but the second they get to the hotel, they gotta play nice. Everyone has to be nice to one another. So
you be nice. I think they make them turn over their guns and stuff too, don't they? At the door.
Something like that. Yeah. Is it a prequel, by the way? Because I don't want to spoil anything.
It is a prequel.
Okay.
It is a prequel. Yeah.
Okay. Got it. Plenty of push-ups and sit-ups happening there, I assume.
Yes, I'm gonna be hurting the next morning from all those push-ups.
Well played, David. Thank you.
Thank you. Check out all the TV shows and movies we just discussed and so much more simply by saying what to watch into your voice remote.